Those were the visuals from Sunita Williams' ancestral village in Gujarat that celebrated her safe arrival from space. NASA astronaut Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore returned to Earth earlier this week after being stuck at the ISS for 9 months. Hello and welcome to Inside South Asia. I'm Hem Kaur Saroya. Let's get started. Our top story this week: Pakistan's top civilian and military leadership rattled by a string of deadly insurgency attacks in the country's Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces in a huddle on Tuesday. The two regions on the boil have been a millstone for Pakistan for decades. Has Islamabad lost control? Here's more.
March 16, Noshki, Balochistan. A bomb explodes near a bus carrying security forces. 11 were killed, 22 injured. This one came hours after an IED blast in Quetta, also in Balochistan. 1 anti-terror force personnel was killed, 6 were injured. Local sources say there were 19 big and small attacks on Pak security forces in Balochistan within 48 hours of the train hijacking last week. The offensive by the insurgent Baloch Liberation Army and other smaller outfits in the region hits dizzying extremes. Again. Step back to two of Pakistan's most volatile regions, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, perpetually on the boil for most, if not all, of independent Pakistan's history. Balochistan, Pakistan's largest province by area, accounts for about 44% of its total land. In population terms, though, it's home to just 6% of Pakistan's people. The Balochis, with a distinct linguistic, cultural and tribal identity, have long hit out at control from Islamabad. At the core of uprisings and the insurgency against the Pak government down decades have been long-standing grievances over economic deprivation, political exclusion and military repression. The insurgency in Balochistan has risen repeatedly in the 1950s, 1970s and the early 2000s. Intensity and frequency has peaked after 2021. February has seen a peak in attacks and deaths not seen since the 1970s.
With rising attacks in Balochistan, there have been renewed calls to launch a security operation. While Islamabad has been cautious in making such a move, given the dynamics, it also remains to be seen as to what its next move will be.
Shift focus to another Pakistani province perpetually on the boil. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's geographical proximity to Afghanistan and its socio-political complexities have bred unrest. Together with Balochistan, KPK makes it 56% of Pakistan in the grip of mayhem. Here in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it's the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, that's got knives out against the Pakistan government. And here too, attacks are frequent and strong. These are visuals of a funeral in KPK after an attack in Nowshera in February. The Darul Uloom Haqqaniya Seminary was targeted. A senior cleric was among the 6 killed. Tempers and tensions run high against a spate of such attacks. Over 150 attacks have been recorded in the first 2 months of 2025 alone. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan TTP, also known as the Pakistani Taliban, has been waging an insurgency against the Pakistani state. Their grievances are rooted in decades of ideological, political and military conflict. The TTP claims that Pakistan's military offensives in the former federally administered tribal areas FATA and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have displaced civilians and killed their fighters. The group says the Pashtun population has been marginalized and unfairly targeted in counter-terrorism operations. It rejects Pakistan's existing legal system and demands a governance model similar to the Afghan Taliban rule. Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have turned into two massive millstones around Pakistan's neck. Decades of a combination of abuse and misuse, repeatedly brushed aside, has grown into a monster Islamabad is finding increasingly difficult to handle.
Two provinces, the province of Balochistan and the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, both which border with Afghanistan, are at the forefront of battling with the menace of terrorism. They're the ones causing troubles for the Pakistani state at large, and reading them in will decide the future course for the country. Anas Malik in Quetta, in Pakistan's Balochistan, for Inside South Asia, only on WION, World is One.
Bangladesh, a group of women working on maternity and maternal health in rural areas across the country over the last 2 decades have made a big difference. One of the country's success stories. However, shifting priorities to politics and upheavals of the day is hurting this area too. Here's more. Mafia Akhtar, a young mother from Biswambharpur, a remote interior district in central Bangladesh, learnt it the hard way. For years, elders in her family had told her that doctors are unnecessary in childbirth. Nursing homes and qualified nurses were unheard of. She paid for it with tragedy. Her baby died in childbirth. The jolt was a big wake-up call.
After the death of my first baby, I told myself that if I don't go to the clinic, it could happen again this time. My condition was not good initially, and then I contacted Nargis, skilled birth attendant. She prescribed me some medicines and my situation improved. Then I decided that I'll give birth at the clinic so that my bleeding can be taken care of.
It's been smoother this time. Mafia enrolled at a maternity clinic early into her pregnancy. Regular tests and checkups and guidance from a group of trained nurses made all the difference. Birth attendant Nargis Akhtar has stood by her throughout. Nargis and her team were given several months of training and put to work plugging big gaps in maternal health. It's a jack of all trades role, but she's happy she can make a difference.
We classify pregnant women first, whether it's a normal, healthy pregnancy or a risky pregnancy. Then if found risky, we tell them not to try for the delivery at home in any way, rather to go to the developed hospitals at Upazila, sub-district level or district level. Sometimes I myself take them to those hospitals.
The use of skilled birth attendants has enabled dramatic improvements to maternal health outcomes in Bangladesh. Data shows big jumps since 2011. Data from the 2022 Demographic and Health Survey showed that the percentage of deliveries attended by medically trained providers increased from 33% in 2011 to 70% in 2022. But there remains a huge gap between urban areas and remote districts. Women in rural areas are less likely to have their deliveries assisted by medically trained providers than women in urban areas, 65% versus 82%. This has translated into big slowdowns in mortality rates for pregnant women. Awareness campaigns in the past have made a difference as well. Health officials say there could be bigger gains if the momentum is maintained.
Currently there is about maternal death is about 160 or 120 or 123 per thousand per lakh live birth, and per year we are achieving 6% less maternal deaths, and if we follow this trend or a bit better, then we can surely achieve SDG in our scheduled time or tentative time by 2030.
But growing political priorities and shrinking international aid have derailed long-term plans in this area too. Bangladesh spends only 0.8% of its GDP on public health, and cuts there means stalling improvements on maternal health. Officials say health funding is far from the top agenda of the present government. Focus has shifted to maintaining law and order and democracy reforms, and people's welfare movement that showed healthy potential faces derailment. South Asia is home to over 650 million Muslims. This region has the largest Islamic population in the world. In India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. In particular, the holy fasting month of Ramazan holds a special significance. Let's take you to Old Delhi, where Ramazan fervor is in full swing. WION's Nikita Singh brings you some highlights.
With the celebrations of Ramazan on in full swing, I'm here to witness this food experience for myself. Trust me, you don't want to miss this journey.
दरअसल जो ये मार्केट है रमज़ान के टाइम बहुत अच्छी
The market here gets very lively during Ramzan. Mohabbat-e Sharbat, which is a refreshing drink, is one of the most famous things here. Dates, nihari, biryani are also very famous and people come from all over to eat these dishes.
है और भी मतलब नहारी कोरमा ये सब खाने आते हैं.
Mr. Alam, take us through some of the age-old delicacies where people from all over come and want to have a taste of.
Actually, the people all over they come here just for the food.
Right.
Because the
That's
Jama
the main
Masjid,
attraction.
that's the main attraction.
Yes.
And Delhi is actually basically the old Delhi is famous for the food only.
Yes.
And typically the Mughlai foods.
Yeah. We also here for that only.
That's in India. Come, let's explore the things. That's
Yeah.
korma.
Oh wow.
Okay. You can see the herbs also
Right.
on the oil.
Yeah.
So basically it's good for the food also, and the herbs make it to make you digest so easily. This is mutton keema, and you can see it's a keema with the egg.
Oh wow, that's an interesting combination. Tell us more about that.
They actually it's a when anyone comes here, so they eat keema. So we give them free of cost the egg also, because the kids with them can also have a good meal,
Right.
and it's a good combination.
Very interesting.
And that's you can see here also. It's called stew. It's
is
not
chicken?
American stew. This is mutton stew.
Oh, this is mutton. All
See.
right. Wow, you're very generous with all the oil and ghee.
You can see my hand. The oil is already floating on me, and that's called paya.
And everything is very spicy, is it? Or
No, it's not spicy.
Okay.
It's basically more of aroma. They look like a
Right.
spicy, but they are not spicy.
That's
And see,
oh wow, the
Yeah.
aroma is
aroma,
something
and you
that-
can also see the decoration of the.
Yeah.
We have a biryani also. Dikhana biryani. Deg ulti kar.
Every grain of rice is so distinct.
And you see
How do you
the-
manage to do that?
Yeah, it's a secret, and we have a special chef for that.
Oh wow, I'm gonna dig in.
You should
This
eat
delicious-
biryani with little bit chicken in it,
Oh okay,
so you can have the
right.
taste of both the things.
Oh wow, you really like feeding us, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I want you to be like me.
And if you're in a part of Old Delhi, how can you not taste Shahi Tukra? That is made with deep fried bread, oodles of dry fruits and condensed milk. The bread made for this sweet is different from regular bread.
I'm all excited to try the famous Shahi Tukra. तो अच्छा ये शाही टुकड़ा है और ये रबड़ी है? ये रबड़ी है। इसके ऊपर डालते हैं। ओके। शाही टुकड़ा भी रबड़ी हमारा फेमस है यहाँ का फुल पॉइंट में। This is an interesting combination of shahi tukra with a hint of rabdi. Let's just taste this wonderful combination that already looks so delicious. Wow, the flavors are just melting.
And finally, we laid our hands on the famous Mohabbat Ka Sharbat, a refreshing drink to keep your energy upbeat.
Not very sweet. It's actually very refreshing, especially when it's hot. This is exactly what you need end of the day. And it, I think, completely rejuvenates you. Wow. I already feel energized with just like 2 sips into my system. Lovely.
All We Imagine is Light won big at the 18th Asian Film Awards. But this was not only the top winner from India. Take a look at our next story.
makes such amazing work coming out from Asia. And we're just so honored to be part of that community, and especially here because the community is celebrated, and I think that's really important for us to look at all the cinema from Asia and to be part of that. That was already special to be nominated, like we spoke earlier. So it's so great to win this award.
It was actually quite a pleasant journey, and like I said to you earlier, I think the challenging part was to believe that I could play the part, because I was very nervous about playing the part and feeling like I was acting, and I didn't want it to seem like acting. It should feel real. And
Community-based conservation efforts have become crucial in protecting endangered species around the world. In Nepal, a country rich in biodiversity, local communities have played a significant role in safeguarding vulnerable animals like the red pandas. Take a look.
Jiwan Suba, a police officer from Nepal, carries the burden of a regret that has lasted for decades. When he was just 17, he killed an unfamiliar creature he discovered in his barn, unaware that it was a red panda, a species now recognized as endangered. He remembers the incident clearly, admitting that neither he nor anyone in his village knew what the animal was at the time. Now, at 48 years old, Suba understands the significance of the red panda and is actively involved in efforts to protect it. His transformation reflects the broader shift in Nepal, where education and awareness programs have significantly altered attitudes towards wildlife conservation.
In the past, we would be able to see red pandas grazing while we were taking our cows, buffaloes, and yaks out to feed in the fields, or when we were out collecting fodder and firewood. We would be perplexed at the sight of them. They looked red. We would run away in fear.
Nepal's community-driven conservation efforts have played a key role in halting the decline of the red panda population, which is estimated to be fewer than 10,000 globally. According to the Red Panda Network, an organization leading global efforts to conserve the animals, between 500 and 1,000 of these creatures live in Nepal, an increase from the 2011 estimate of 300 to 600.
In terms of their numbers, they have increased to some extent, though we do not have actual data. According to the villagers and tourists, earlier it would take a week to spot a red panda. Now they can spot 3 to 4 red pandas on the same day.
Conservationists credit Nepal's educational outreach and sustainable livelihood initiatives for the success of its red panda protection programs. In the Kanchenjunga conservation area in eastern Nepal, indigenous communities have transitioned from raising livestock to cultivating nettle plants, helping preserve red panda habitats. Also, villagers no longer forage in the forest, allowing red pandas to thrive undisturbed. Furthermore, Nepal established the Puwama Juwa Community Red Panda Conservation Area, a 116-hectare, 287-acre zone last year. The area is patrolled by anti-poaching committees with significant local involvement in its management. In the past 5 years, Nepal has confiscated 33 red panda hides, a substantial reduction from the 70 hides seized between 2011 and 2015. Poaching of red pandas has declined, but conservationists warn that many poaching incidents go unreported or unpunished. Hides of the red panda are smuggled to countries like China and Myanmar, often for their supposed medicinal properties or aesthetic value. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, has listed the red panda as endangered since 2016, primarily due to habitat loss. The IUCN also suggests that the growing popularity of the animal on social media has led to an increase in demand for red pandas as pets. Despite the progress, conservationists argue that Nepal's rapid infrastructure development poses new challenges for red panda protection.
Road networks, hydroelectricity, transmission lines and cable car construction are going on, and because of this, habitats have been fragmented.
In Taplejung district, a key area for red pandas, local communities are protesting the large-scale deforestation linked to the construction of a cable car project aimed at boosting tourism. Local conservationists are calling for stricter precautions during such developments.
And that's all we have in our show today. I'll leave you with some visuals from the India Paddle Festival held recently in Bengaluru, India. I'm Hem Kaur Saroya. Until next week, it's goodbye.
Catch me on Token Money Magnet, only on WION.
As K-pop fans mourn singer Choi Wee-sung's death, we look at some of the most shocking deaths of South Korean celebrities. Meet the makers of My Melbourne. And decode the hottest fashion trends of 2025. All this and much more with me, Diksha Bisla, on WION E-Club at these times.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, world is one.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in. Imagine a world where owning your dream asset is just a click away, where wealth is no longer exclusive to the few. Tokenization, the game changer transforming assets into digital opportunities. A revolutionary technology opening doors to a new era of investment. Don't miss Token Money Magnet, a bold initiative by Kalp Foundation. Only on WION, World is One.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION, World is One.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Empowering the tokenized revolution. Tune in to Token Money Magnet, only on WION.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yo1.com.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Race to Power. My name is Mohammed Saleh. And on the show today, the arrest of Istanbul's mayor has triggered a wave of protests and demonstrations across Turkey's biggest cities. And in the United States of America, Donald Trump is all set to sign an executive order on shutting down the Department of Education. But let's start with some breaking news that in fact just come in from Canada, where Canada will be announcing some early elections in the country. According to reports that are coming in, Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to announce snap elections. The date is set to be the 28th of April. Carney is